Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news into the atmosphere. James Harden has been traded from the Houston Rockets to the Brooklyn Nets in a blockbuster trade. You don't see these trades only a month into the season, but it has finally happened. Harden will join Kevin Durant once again in Brooklyn. Hopefully Kyrie Irving will be there. We're not 100% sure when Kyrie will be joining that Nets group again. But this is a blockbuster trade. Caris Levert is on the move 2 times. We'll get into that more in a second. I'm going to read to you guys the detail of this blockbuster trade that sees James Harden trade teams in the midst of the 2020-21 NBA season. The Nets are going to receive James Harden. The Rockets will receive Victor Oladipo. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, in a 14 trade, the Indiana Pacers have been added to this trade as a late addition. Dante Exum, 4 first-round picks, and 4 pick swaps. I'll give you guys the pick swaps momentarily. The Pacers will receive Caris Levert, and the Cavaliers will receive Jarrett Allen and Taurean Prince. So the Nets are just flipping their entire roster out at the beginning of a season? That's a lot of overhaul for James Harden, who was unhappy. So essentially what we had was a 3-team trade. It was the Nets, it was the Rockets, and it was the Cavaliers. The Nets were going to trade Caris Levert, who I thought had to be moved in any James Harden trade if I'm the Rockets, but the Rockets don't want Caris Levert. That's where the Indiana Pacers come into play. They want Caris Levert, and they're moving Victor Oladipo to get him. Indiana had been rolling so far this season. I'm as shocked as anything involved in this trade that they're moving off of Oladipo right now. There has to be something within that locker room that we just don't know about. Caris Levert is a home run get for Indiana. You put him in the backcourt with Malcolm Brogdon, I absolutely think it will work out. But I thought Oladipo in Indiana was working out this year. They are winning games they're pretty much top of the Eastern Conference. I can't believe they're moving off of Oladipo right now. You would think if you're going to make a move like that, you could have did that around the trade deadline. But that is the news. We'll talk about Oladipo being moved and Caris Levert being moved in another video. Right now, we need to focus on the biggest piece of this deal, James Harden. Clearly unhappy in Houston, wanted to be moved, and will finally get that opportunity at a new beginning to his career. James hired new representation in the last week or two to help him get a deal done. The same guys that he hired were the guys that got Russell Westbrook traded to Washington. So we know James Harden's mother had been representing him for the last year or so, ever since Rob Pelinka took the job as the Lakers general manager, and then obviously now he's the VP after Magic left. So Harden had been agentless. I guess if you want to consider his mama agent, she's not a professional in that career. He finally hires some representation to help him make this trade happen, and he gets his new beginning in Brooklyn with Kevin Durant and the Nets. Wow. Obviously, we'll talk about this more. Let me know your initial feedback, your initial thoughts on this 14 massive deal that sees multiple All-Stars get traded. All-Star potential get traded. And Caris Levert, Jarrett Allen, a starting center who's in a contract year, get traded to Cleveland. They already got a lot of bigs. What are they doing? Let me know what you think about this one in the comment box below.